Life seemed perfect for Ifioma and Emeka. Their center, Nwaoma Empowerment Initiative, flourished, providing opportunities for young women to learn skills and find their voices. Their story of love and triumph over adversity inspired countless people, and they were celebrated as role models in their community. However, Ifioma couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. At night, she often dreamt of Adora's terrified face as the spirits dragged her into the shadows. She would wake up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding, and the sense of unease growing stronger each day. One evening, while Ifioma was locking up the center, an old man approached her. He wore a tattered agbada and leaned on a curved staff adorned with strange symbols. His eyes, though cloudy with age, seemed to pierce straight into her soul. "You think it's over, don't you?" he said, his voice gravely yet commanding. "Who are you?" Ifioma asked, trying to mask her fear. "I am DK, the keeper of the spirit world," he replied. "The spirit world does not forget, Ifioma. Adora's action has evoked the power of the spirits, and something far worse is coming. You must prepare." Before she could ask more, the man turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving her with more questions than answers. The next day, strange things began happening around the center. Objects moved on their own. Airy whispers filled the air, and some of the girls reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the corners. Emeka tried to reassure everyone, but even he couldn't ignore the growing tension. Mama Eke paid them a visit, uninvited but concerned. "The spirit world has been disturbed," she said. "When Adora summoned the spirits, she opened a door that cannot easily close. And now, something far more dangerous is trying to come true." "What can we do?" Ifioma asked, desperation in her voice. "You must seek the Ikenga, an ancient statue of protection. It is the only thing powerful enough to seal the door permanently." Mama Eke explained, "But it won't be easy to find. The Ikenga resides in the sacred caves of Arochukwu, guarded by trials that test your heart and soul." Determined to protect their community, Ifioma and Emeka set out on a journey to the sacred caves. Mama Eke warned them that the trials would force them to confront their deepest fears and regrets. As they entered the dense forest leading to Arochukwu, the air grew heavy and the trees seemed to whisper warnings. The first trial came as they reached a river that seemed impossible to cross. A spirit appeared, taking the form of Chidi, who had died because of Ifeoma's beauty. "Why did you let me die?" the spirit asked, his voice filled with sorrow. Ifioma broke into tears, overwhelmed with guilt. "I never wanted anyone to die because of me," she said, "but I cannot change the past. All I can do is honor your memory by living a life that helps others." The spirit nodded and dissolved into a mist, revealing a bridge that allowed them to cross the river. Deeper into the forest, the second trial awaited. A shadowy figure appeared, whispering to Emeka, "She will bring you nothing but pain. Leave her and you will live a peaceful life." Emeka stood firm, his voice unwavering. "I have chosen Ifioma, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Our love, my strength, not my weakness." the shadow dissipated and a path to the caves appeared. Inside the caves, they found the Ikenga, a small wooden figure radiating an ancient power. But as Ifioma reached for it, a monstrous spirit emerged, roaring in fury. "You dare take what belongs to the spirit world?" it bellowed. Ifioma, holding Emeka's hand tightly, shouted back, "We take it not for greed, but to restore a crack in the spirit world and to protect the innocent. Let us prove our worth." The spirit unleashed a storm of illusions, showing them visions of their worst fears: failure, loss, and loneliness. But together they faced each vision, their love and determination unwavering. Finally, the spirit relented, retreating into the shadows. "You have passed the test," it said. "Take the Ikenga and guard it well." When they returned to their community, they found it in chaos. The shadowy figure had grown stronger, and people were fleeing in terror. Ifioma and Emeka, armed with the Ikenga, performed the ritual Mama Ike had taught them. As they chanted, the shadowy figures converged, trying to stop them. Emeka shielded Ifioma while she held the Ikenga high, calling upon its power. A blinding light erupted, banishing the shadows and sealing the door between worlds. The community rejoiced as peace returned, and Ifioma and Emeka became prized, cherished jewels in their own rights. They continued their work, now with a deeper understanding of the delicate forces within the physical and spiritual worlds. But in the quiet moments, Ifioma couldn't forget Dike's ways. The spirit world does not forget. Months passed, and life returned to a semblance of normalcy. Ifioma and Emeka focused on their center, helping more young women and expanding their influence across neighboring communities. But the warning from Dike, the keeper of the spirit world, remained etched in Ifioma's mind. She often felt watched, a cold presence lingering in the shadows, though she told no one, not even Emeka. One evening, while Emeka was away at a conference, Ifioma received a visitor. It was Dike again, his figure appearing out of the mist like a phantom. This time, his expression was grave. "You'd think the Ikenga has solved everything," he began, "but the spirit world has been deeply angered by your actions. You closed the door, but the danger Adora caused has awakened something ancient, something far more powerful than any spirit you have encountered." "What do you mean?" Ifioma asked, her voice trembling. "The Ogbanje, the restless ones, have stirred. They were bound to the spirit's world long ago, but now they seek vengeance for their imprisonments. Their wrath will not be contained unless a new keeper of the spirit world is chosen to maintain the order." Dike explained that Ifioma had been marked by the spirits since the day she was born. Her beauty was tied to the spiritual realm as a beacon of power. "You were never meant to live an ordinary life," he said. "The curse was only the beginning. Now you must embrace your destiny and become the keeper of the spirits." Ifioma was stunned. "But I am just one person. How can I take on such a responsibility?" "What about Emeka? What about the life we have built?" Dike's eyes softened. "You will not be alone. Emeka's love has anchored you, and it will continue to strengthen you. But this path is yours to walk, Ifioma. If you refuse, The Ogbanje will bring chaos to both worlds. As Ike disappeared into the mist, Ifioma began noticing strange occurrences. Children in the community fell ill with no explanation. Crops withered overnight, and whispers of ghostly figures began spreading among the villagers. One night, Ifioma awoke to find her room filled with a chilling fog. At the foot of her bed stood a figure, a young girl with hollow eyes and an airy smile. "You think you can stop us?" the girl said in a voice that echoed unnaturally. "We are the Ogbanje. The connection holding the spirit world has been broken, and now the living will suffer." Before Ifioma could respond, the girl vanished, leaving behind a single black feather on the floor. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Ifioma sought out Mama Ike, who revealed that the only way to confront the Ogbanje was to enter the spirit world herself. "But be warned," Mama Ike said, "the spirit world is treacherous. You must be strong, for it will test every part of you." Emeka insisted on accompanying her, but Mama Ike shook her head. "This is her journey alone. You must trust her." Reluctantly, Emeka agreed, though his heart was heavy with worry. "Promise me you will come back," he said, holding Ifioma's hands tightly. "I promise," she whispered, though she wasn't sure if she could keep it. Guarded by Mama Ike's incantations, Ifioma entered the spirit world, a realm of swirling mist and shifting landscapes. She encountered spirits of all kinds, some kind, others malevolent. Each one posed a challenge, testing her courage, wisdom, and resolve. In one trial, she faced a vision of Emeka abandoning her, leaving her to face the Ogbanje alone. Though the vision was heart-wrenching, Ifioma reminded herself of his unwavering love and pushed through the illusion. In another, she encountered Adora, her former tormentor, trapped in a ghostly limbo. "Help me," Adora pleaded, her voice filled with despair. Ifioma hesitated but extended her hand, pulling Adora out of the darkness. As Adora dissolved into light, Ifioma felt a surge of strength, knowing she had done the right thing. At the heart of the spirit world, Ifioma found the Ogbanje, a group of ghostly children, their eyes filled with anger and sorrow. Their leader, a boy named Nnamdi, stepped forward. "You think you can stop us?" he sneered. "We were abandoned, cast aside, and forgotten. Now we will make the living remember us." Ifioma knelt before them, her voice steady but filled with compassion. "I know your pain. I know what it's like to feel cursed, to feel like you don't belong. But vengeance will not heal your wounds. Let me help you find peace." The Ogbanje hesitated, their anger wavering. Nnamdi's expression softened, and he whispered, "How?" Ifioma raised the Ikenga, its light glowing brightly, "by restoring and mending the crack in the spirit world. By honoring your memory and ensuring you are never forgotten again." As the light of the Ikenga enveloped the Ogbanje, their forms dissolved into peaceful spirits, and the spirit world began to stabilize. Dike appeared, his expression one of pride. "You have done well, Ifioma," he said. "You are now the keeper of the spirit world. Your journey is far from over, but you have proven that love, compassion, and courage can overcome even the darkest forces." When Ifioma returned to the physical world, Emeka was waiting for her, tears of relief streaming down his face. She embraced him tightly, knowing that bond had carried her through. Together, they continued their work, now with a deeper understanding of the delicate harmony between the two worlds. Ifeoma's role as keeper of the spirit world brought new challenges, but she faced them with strength and wisdom, her story becoming a beacon of hope for generations to come. And though the spirit world was never truly silent, Ifioma stood ready, knowing she was destined to protect the balance between life and the unseen. For months, Ifeoma's role as keeper of the spirit world brought stability to her community. She worked tirelessly, ensuring harmony between the living and the spirit world. But her newfound responsibilities also attracted attention from malevolent forces lurking in the shadows. Whispers began to circulate about an ancient entity known as Ekwensu, the spirit of chaos and war, who had been awakened by the disturbance in the spirit world. Ekwensu was no ordinary spirit. He thrived on discord and destruction, feeding off the fears and weaknesses of humans. His goal was not just to disrupt the spirit world, but to destroy it entirely, plunging both worlds into eternal chaos. The first sign of Ekwensu's presence came in the form of strange storms. The skies turned blood red at dusk, and lightning struck without rain. Livestock began disappearing, and villagers reported hearing eerie laughter echoing through the forests at night. One evening, Ifioma found a message inscribed into the ground outside the center. The words, written in an ancient dialect: "The keeper cannot save you. Chaos will reign." Ifeoma's heart sank. She knew she couldn't face this new threat alone. Ifioma and Emeka traveled to the neighboring village of Inri, known for its skilled diviners and custodians of ancient knowledge. There they met a wise priestess named Chinwe, who was said to have once communed with Ekwensu herself. Chinwe listened carefully to the story, her face grave. Ekwensu is a spirit that cannot be defeated by brute force or even by the Ikenga alone, she said. He strives on division and despair. To confront him, you must unite both the living and the spirits. Only through collective harmony can his power be diminished. Chinwe handed Ifioma a sacred talisman known as the Udu, a clay pot imbued with protective spells. This will shield you from its influence, but it will not last forever. Use it wisely. When Ifioma and Emeka returned home, they found their community in disarray. Rumors of Ekwensu's arrival had sown distrust among the villagers. Friends turned on one another. Families quarreled, and even the center became a battleground for petty disputes. Ifioma realized that Ekwensu's power was already taking root, and she needed to act quickly. She began hosting community gatherings, sharing stories of unity, and encouraging the villagers to work together. But her efforts were met with resistance, as fear and suspicion clouded her judgments. One night, Ekwensu revealed himself. His form was ever-changing, a swirling mass of fire, shadows, and serpents. He appeared in the village square, his voice booming like thunder. "You cannot stop me, keeper," he declared. "Your people are weak, divided, and afraid. They are mine to control." Ifioma, clutching the Udu, stepped forward. "You underestimated us, Ekwensu. We are stronger than you think." Ekwensu laughed, a chilling sound that made the air tremble. "Prove it," he said, vanishing into the night, but leaving behind a trail of destruction. Determined to unite the village, Ifioma and Emeka called upon neighboring communities, sharing the threat of Ekwensu and the need for collective strength. Many were hesitant, fearing the wrath of the chaos spirits, but a few brave leaders agreed to help. Together, they organized a massive ritual, combining the spiritual knowledge of diviners, the protective chants of priestesses, and the physical strength of warriors. The goal was to create a protective barrier around the village and weaken Ekwensu's influence. On the night of the ritual, Ekwensu launched his full assault. The sky darkened, and the earth trembled as he unleashed his army of shadowy minions. The villagers, now united, stood their ground, chanting prayers and wielding the talisman provided by Chiune and other diviners. Ifioma, at the center of the ritual, held the Ikenga in one hand and the Udu in the other. She called upon the spirits of the Ogbanje, who had once sought vengeance but now served as guardians of the spirit world. Their delicate forms emerged, creating a circle of light around the village. Ekwensu roared in fury, his form growing larger among menacing. "You cannot defeat chaos," he bellowed. Ifioma stepped forward, her voice steady. "Chaos cannot exist without order, and as long as we stand together, you will never win." Using the combined power of the Ikenga and the Udu and the villagers' unity, Ifioma unleashed a wave of energy that engulfed Ekwensu. His form shattered into countless fragments, which were absorbed by the earth, sealing him away once more. The village celebrated their victory, their bonds stronger than ever. Ifioma, now fully embracing her role as keeper of the spirit world, continued her work with renewed purpose. She knew that challenges would come, but she also knew that unity and love were the greatest weapon against any threats. As for Ekwensu, his presence lingered in whispers and shadows, a reminder that chaos could never be entirely eradicated. But Ifioma stood vigilant, ready to protect the spirit world for as long as she lived. And so her popularity grew, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring power of unity in the face of darkness. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the final part of this beautiful story, please drop a like and comment on your favorite part of the video. And do well to subscribe to my channel, Folktale by Queen Mother, so you won't miss out on our next story. Also, share the story with your friends and family. It's been a long way getting here, and I really appreciate all of you who watched the story to the end. Do have a lovely day. Thank you.